For my book, I have chosen the book The Devil in Massachusetts, A Modern Inquiry into the Salem Witch Trials by Marion L. Starkey. The book is a historical nonfiction that is written as a narrative, and it follows the events of the infamous Salem witch trials. The Salem witch trials took place in the late 1600s in the North American colonies, but more specifically in Massachusetts and Connecticut. The trials were triggered by a series of events that caused colonists to fear the supernatural. And after hearing the news of the glorious revolution in England in 1688, the colonists had hope of a spiritual revival. Their hopes were soon trampled by King Philip's War in 1689. Because of the war's outbreak, tensions between the colonists and the Indians soon returned. Now in fear of attack, colonists soon began to believe that Satan was afoot. This fear of negative supernatural interference manifested itself in accusations of witchcraft. The book then opens up by introducing the main characters, 9-year-old Betty and 11-year-old Abigail. Betty and Abigail are the daughter and niece of Reverend Samuel Parris. The book then moves on to give insight into the girls' varying personalities, Betty being the more sensitive and empathetic of the two, while Abigail seemed to be more disgruntled and hardened by life, even at such a young age. The chapter then continues on in this way, giving more insight into the girls' personalities by giving examples of their varying behavior in different situations such as church. The next chapter introduces the Parris family slaves, John Indian and Tituba. John Indian was the family's more laborious help, as he mostly worked outside caring for livestock. Tituba, on the other hand, mostly worked inside as more of a house slave or a servant. The book then proceeds to explain that when left alone for extended periods of time, while Samuel was working and his wife was away running errands that often took her out of town, Tituba would occasionally teach the girls tricks and spells because it seemed to amuse them. However, Abigail found that Tituba's magic was too exciting to be kept to herself, so the Parris' kitchen soon became a hot spot for the girls in the neighborhood to gather and witness the magic. The neighborhood girls soon found themselves continuing to come back for more and more entertainment, and in the following harsh and boring winter of 1691 to 1692, as tensions from King Philip's War and attacks on the Indians grew, the teenage girls in the neighborhood decided to turn to Tituba's magic for much-needed comfort and entertainment. It wasn't long after that Betty and Abigail were beginning to experience odd happenings such as absent-mindedness, convulsions, and babbling incoherently, all signs of possession. Not too much longer after Betty and Abigail, many of the other girls in town began to experience the same problems as the news spread like wildfire. The Parrises decide to take Betty and Abigail to the local doctor. The doctor looks into many different options such as epilepsy, but he could not find anything wrong with the girls, and it was diagnosed that they were in fact possessed. A few chapters later, it is addressed that the girls have accused Tituba of witchcraft. The magistrates charged with trying the accused had no idea where to start when it came to finding evidence of witchcraft. And after studying many different sources, the magistrates decided that any devil's mark would prove one's guilt. And the following chapters continue to recount the trials of Tituba and the others accused after her and their inevitable punishments.